Dear Erin, I am hearing the word codependency thrown around all the time in my friend groups or on social media. What does that mean, and how do I know if my partner and I are codependent? At what point does it become a bad thing?
So I'm going to just throw it out there that it's always a bad thing. Okay, codependency is this idea that one human being relies on another human being for like every facet of good or bad feeling in their life. Meaning that when I'm sad, it's your fault, or you have to be sad with me. When I'm happy, it's your fault, and you have to be happy with me. Like it's just this, it's kind of this constant, I have to have this person on the highs and lows with me in my life. And if they're not, it can cause a lot of problems. The word that people are looking for, which is a healthy word, is called mutual interdependence. Okay, a lot of people will be like, well, you should be codependent a little bit. Wrong, codependency is always bad. It's literally an unhealthy dependence on another human being for your emotional state, okay? Mutual interdependence, on the other hand, is that there's a mutual connection, and that we depend on each other in an equal way. Meaning that sometimes you can provide me with some of my emotions and my emotional support, but other times I can get that from other people. I know I can depend on my partner, right, in ways where they'll be there to support me and I can count on them and all that kind of stuff, but I also know that I'm still Erin. And that I don't need to rise and set with my partner's feelings or their emotional state. And it's weird because codependency can even show up in like hobbies and activities, and it just, human beings have to remain individuals in the context of all the relationships in their life. I went to this wedding a long time ago, well, maybe like 5 years ago, so I don't know, that feels like a long time for me, but maybe it's not that long. And it was a traditional, I don't know, is it a Catholic wedding where they do the unity candle?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so I loved the symbolism that they had at this wedding. It was kind of like a new age Catholic wedding. And what they had is they had two candles, right? The two individual candles. And instead of them lighting one together and then blowing their candles out, like they were no longer their own individual person. Like to me, that's like a symbolism of codependency. And maybe I'll get criticized for that, but like if you have to, if you're getting married and you're lighting one candle and I'm lighting the other and then we're blowing them out, it's like, well, now we have to do everything together from here on out, all of our emotions, all of our feelings. But what I loved is they put the candles back, fully lit. And it kind of gives me the chills.
I just got the chill. I was just going to say that.
I know, because it's this idea of like, that is symbolic for mutual interdependence to me. Like we can come together, we can lean on each other, we can love each other, we can grow together. And I'm still Erin and you're still Zoe, and we get to have the things that make us unique, that made us fall in love in the first place, right? our love story too. So the answer is correct people when they're wrong. Codependency is never a healthy adaptive tool. It's what we call a maladaptive tool. It came out of actually addiction medicine. Is where we kind of coined the term from, and it was this idea that when people started to get rid of, like come off of their drug of choice, let's say it be alcohol or whatever it is, they would find like a new addiction, and sometimes that would be people. Right, so those same highs and lows that people would have when they would be using substances, and they'd become like sober, and then they would have that involved in their relationship. And so it's you know, whether you call it like that dry drunk mentality or whatever, but that's really where it kind of came from. And back in the day when Al-Anon, which is a group for people who love somebody who has struggled with addiction, they kind of talked about, it kind of came out of these people who were talking in Al-Anon, and it maybe existed before that, but what really made it popular was like, I feel like now that my significant other is sober, I feel like I'm like these high highs and high lows, they're seeking them in our context of our relationship.
No, that makes sense.
And so that's where it came from. So it's a maladaptive thing, and what people are searching for is that mutual interdependence. I can count on you. I love you. You can share your feelings. You're willing to sit in the tough stuff with me.